We're live.
Let's talk about it, the African versus Caribbean conflict. Now, I'm Jamaican, but I'm born and raised in New York, grew up in a Jamaican household, so I feel like I'm the perfect person to talk about this because I would be lying to say that there isn't some judgment going on between the two communities. Excuse me, three. But African and Caribbeans are on the same side, so I'm gonna just say two. But this whole little thing, it honestly comes from obvious cultural differences. All my friends with Caribbean parents and African parents, there's just certain things that we are not allowed to do that Americans can do. There is a big cultural difference, and that definitely stems the whole drama. However, it is not fair to close yourself off to all African Americans because not all people are the same. Honest to God, this whole thing is not gonna get resolved unless we're able to put, all groups in a room and they discuss their cultural differences.
All right. Made sense.
Let's talk about why Black people and Africans don't like each other. And I think this is very relevant considered the dropping of Black is King, because there is a lot of friction out there about, Black people appropriating African culture. Now, I understand. You're like, oh my God, how can Black people appropriate African culture if they're African American? Let's get into this and we'll touch on that. So let's start by being honest. Black people definitely made fun of Africans. Black people were definitely embarrassed to be African. And Africans were embarrassed at Black people. Let's not act like kids weren't busting on each other and pointing to the National Geographic magazine saying, this is you. And Black people saying, no, I'm not. I'm part Indian. And let's not act like Africans don't see us as lazy, even though we've been battling slavery and oppression for years. Still, we were embarrassed about African culture and didn't want to claim it, and now all of a sudden we do. Part two.
All right.
African Americans feel like they're better than people from the Caribbean and people from Africa. And I make videos about everybody, so I don't want to hear, oh, you're picking on this person and that person. I want to see everybody that I make videos comment on this video too. But yes, growing up, you would see African Americans making fun of people that were from the Caribbean or people that were from Africa or certain people from Latin America. If you was Jamaican or Caribbean, you would have to hide the fact that you would be Jamaican or Caribbean or wherever you're from in the Caribbean, just so you won't get made fun of it in school. African Americans tend to believe that outside of America is third world, but it's not like that. That's not the case. We're all Black. Each Black nation is advancing, and we as Black people, whether we are here or there, we created everything.
More.
But Black immigrants didn't want to talk to us. They stayed to themselves.
Yes, I know I'm being childish, but I'm actually really tired of this conversation. I've already said several times that all you gotta do is research Haitians versus African Americans. It's all online, but you guys want it coming out of my mouth? I'm gonna say it. African Americans terrorized, specifically Haitians, in Miami. I knew it also happened in Boston and New York and stuff like that, but I'm from Miami. And no, this was not just bullying. It was more than bullying. Going back to the sentiments of we didn't talk to you. The ones like myself that did speak English by middle school. This even happened to the Jamaicans, the Bahamians, the Turks Islanders. Because, they speak English, but they speak English with an accent. As soon as we start speaking in class, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Oh, that's what you sound like. It needs to happen all day. Every day. It was so repetitive. I went through legit 4 middle schools because I was not having that shit. I wasn't having it with the staff nor the students because the African American staff was no better. They used to legit stand by the exit door and watch these kids, because these Haitian kids that were coming in, they were docile. They used to legit watch these kids get jumped until the school board intervene, and what their solution was is to let the Haitian kids out like at least 30 minutes early. I'll give you my story in a minute.
And I do remember Haitian Day, which was the day that, the ignorant Black kids would run out of school after school and go beat up people just because they were Haitian. I mean, I have friends to this day from Miami who still deny their Haitian heritage because they're so traumatized from being teased and picked on and shunned.
This was a comment on his video. As a Haitian from South Florida, my dad still can't stand African Americans to this day because he came when they would randomly ride around and beat up Haitians. I dealt with it too, but it wasn't as bad in my time. And by the end of middle school, it became cool to be Haitian. So that's why I say I don't want to hear from nobody who was born after 1993, 1994. Because we legit suffered, so you guys did not have to. I legit got kicked out of Miami Edison Middle, Jan Man Middle, Roving Leader. Then I ended up at Last Chance Janet Reno. Every single school before Last Chance Janet Reno had some ignorant ass African American teachers. They would just allow their students to just go in on Haitians.
Well, that's her story. Let's do one more.
Really support Black Americans only indulging in Black American culture.
So I'm on deadline and I don't really have time, but I made time because y'all, I saw this and nothing hurts me more than Black people tearing other Black people down, especially over some silly stuff like this. Black Americans need to stick to Black American culture. Do you understand that Black American culture is literally an amalgamation of Afro-Caribbean culture that's evolved over centuries? What? Furthermore, Black Americans are not a monolith, and it's really weird of you to say that. There are some ignorant Black Americans for sure, and they're ignorant because their heritage has been systematically and deliberately erased because that's how you kill a tree, by poisoning the roots. There are also some very educated Black Americans who've done the work, and they don't deserve to be looped in to this ignorant stereotype that you've got going. When you perpetuate this division among Black people, what you're doing is you're perpetuating the white supremacy and colonialism that this is rooted in. So next time, think about who you're helping and serving instead of hurting fellow Black people during Black History Month.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody
Hey.
doing? What's up?
Hey.
Tonight we have a very, very, very special guest who saw one of our shows on YouTube and say, hey, I want to get in on that. Please welcome Tiffany C., hailing from Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, everybody. Blessings,
All right.
blessings. Shout out to everybody.
All right. Pam, how you doing, Pam?
Doing pretty good, thanks.
Pam got the, was that Doris Day or is that,
Oh, damn. It's gorgeous.
It looks nice. Looks nice. Looking good. What's up, Tanya?
Tiffany doesn't know this.
No, go ahead. You said what? Oh,
What's up, Tanya? Tanya, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was letting Pam say something, but it's okay. Well, I'm great, excellent, and it's nice to see a beautiful face on our show. So welcome.
Blessings, blessings.
So please, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and please hit the notification button so when we go live, you'll definitely get a notification. And tell all your friends and your family and your enemies about our show.
Yeah.
Tonight, this is actually a part 2. We did a part 1 and it went crazy on the internet, on YouTube. Over 50, almost 60,000 views and comments and stuff. And it's a thing that I wasn't really aware of. And it's African Americans don't get along with pretty much this. And African Americans don't get along with Black people from the Caribbean and Africans, Black people from Africa. There's some kind of disconnect between the three groups, between the three. I can't even say three races because we're all Black. I'll admit I get it. I'm from Barbados, and I know I have heard, and I'll admit, a lot of people from the Caribbean say when they come to America, Black Americans don't like to work, they're lazy, they don't want no jobs. I have heard it all. And when I first came to this country, that's the way it did seem to me. And I'll tell you that that's the way it seems. But once I started living in America and experiencing what Black Americans experience, I am here to say, and I would not say this any differently, Black Americans are not half as pissed off as they should be. Because the shit that Black Americans have to deal with, people from the Caribbean, we can deal with it because we don't have to take it. Because when I had enough, I can jump on the plane and I can go back to that little country. We call it the Rock, Barbados. And there's 98% of that country that looks like me. So when I land and I get off that plane, I see all the people that look like me. I know I fit in. I know I belong here. Black Americans don't have that option. They're born into a country and they're told we don't want you here. How would you're born here? This is your country. You were born into it. Yet still society treats you like they don't want you here. Some people say it has a lot to do with the way they see Black Americans on TV, you know, all the negative stereotypes that we see on TV. But once you get to America, I think you should make it your business to find out what's going on in this country, if you're going to adopt this country as your own. And Tiffany, since you're our guest, I'm going to go to you first. You had mentioned pre-show that you had worked with some Jamaicans and never again.
Yeah, that's just my personal, because I have worked so long with them. But I think the disconnect. Oh, hey, good evening.
Hey, wait. Go ahead, Tiffany.
I think the disconnect is just ignorance. I think that's what's going on. A lot of people just don't know or just don't get it or wasn't raised, you know, properly. I can actually say my mother did not raise us to hate anybody. She told us to love everybody, any culture, any background. All my friends was from all different walks of life. I didn't find out until, you know, all this unbalance and disconnect until I turned to adult. And I was very disappointed because my mother never raised me like that. So it's all about how you was raised. I would not dare disrespect somebody and call them out their name or say something bad about their culture or background. I think background and culture is beautiful because we lost that. But that's all about who raised me, is my mother. She taught us that. You know, a lot of these young people was not raised to respect everybody and people's cultures and background.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the way Black Africans are being treated in Ukraine, Black Americans came out for those Africans in Ukraine, right? We didn't say, Black Americans didn't say, well, those are from Africa, we don't care about them. It was like Black people coming together for Black people. And I'm saying that because I don't understand why, you know, Africans will come to this country or why and look down. I hear a lot of Black Americans say Africans look down on African Americans, and I hear about Caribbean people too. And I admitted it. We do. I mean, a lot of us come from the Caribbean. We have no, and that is because we have no knowledge of what happened before we came. And that's the truth.
That's the ignorance, right?
I didn't know. I swear. You know who taught me about Jim Crow? Even though I saw it on TV and that kind of stuff, I really learned about Jim Crow and all that stuff from doing the show with Tanya and another friend of ours, Kevin. He supposed to be on the show, but he's a comedian. He's doing a show tonight. I don't think he's going to make it. And from other people from doing the show and having people comment and hearing about, Black people, the Black fountain, the Black toilet, bathroom, the Black. I mean, I've seen it on TV, but you don't really, it doesn't sink in until you actually talk to people that, experienced it. So Tanya, I'm going to go to you next. I know you have Tanya has traveled the world. She was a model, a former supermodel in my eyes. She's
not super. I wish I was
in
super.
my eyes. I said,
you are super.
Right now.
Supermodel. And a lot of Africans come to the country and they do look down. They think Black people aren't working hard enough.
That's it.
There's jobs out there, I had 3 jobs. I'm like, if I can get 3 jobs, why can't Black Americans get 3 jobs? but it is a lot more to it. And but I'll let you go ahead, Tanya.
Okay. So that is the piece for me that does it. And I'm so glad that, like you said before, from traveling, I've met every type of Afrikaner there it possibly is to man. And because of those travels, I was able to open up my head and say, okay, what is my side of this? And what is our side of this? So here's the thing. Divide and conquer has always been a thing, right? And since the beginning, since they stole some of us and some of us here, and they stole that land, and the ones that they came and brought over. So that's the first thing. It's definitely the person in the house, the person in the field. That's still the same thing going on. That's first. I don't think I've had people say to me. I remember one time, and actually this is when I'm just a model. One of my African friends told me, and a Jamaican friend told me once that they was kind of saying that they're better than African Americans. And I was like, excuse me. They were like, what? I was like, we're all African. I'm just saying, just for the sake of everything, we all come from the mitochondrial Eve. I mean, let's just keep it real. So I can call myself African American, but I'm African. And matter of fact, my DNA on 3 different sites say that I'm like 80-something% African. So, okay, you want to shoot me for the other 15%? Don't say that word. Sorry, Facebook or whoever you are. Wrong word. I forgot that's a bad word to say on there. But it's like a technicality, fine. But we're still all African, all of us. And that's the part that we need to focus on. And I will say I have seen other Black Americans in certain places and times and things. It really depends on how your mama raised you. Like you said, your mama raised you well. That's why you're not running around teasing people and saying, look at you, look at your head, or look at your whatever the outstanding trait would be, right? Because you know better and your mom trained you better. My foster mom trained me better. You know what I'm saying? But I did see some kids who were, let's say, they were broke and didn't have anything else to do but to find something to talk about. So if it was an immigrant child, that's who they pick on. I never witnessed it personally because I would step in. I'm the type of person that would definitely be like, why? And I have seen people say, oh, you're Black, like Black meaning dark, to someone that's one of my darker friends or darker family members. And I'm like, what'd you just say? And I'll correct you. I correct anybody. So I have, done my due diligence, whatever you want to call it. But there are people, and I believe that those people that are making the fun, like even in Miami, the girl said in Miami or wherever down in Florida, they were teasing the Haitians. I do remember there was a time where people were teasing Haitians especially during the AIDS crisis and that whole thing. I mean, there was just so many dumb stereotypes. It was horrible. But overall, I don't think that's all African Americans. That's number one. And I every time I say, okay, tell me who was doing the teasing. And when I go back into the story, it's usually somebody who had nothing better to do with their time. They usually have no structure, no love in their life at all. And they're just ragging, doing the dozens on whoever the easiest group is to peck on. That's what that's about. What was the last thing I talk about? The division. Oh gosh. The loop. What was it? Something you said. Jamaican Africans. Oh yeah. So the people teasing us, saying that we're lazy. I always tell my friends I have had friends say that, oh, they're lazy, they don't want to work. And I was like, well, I don't know about you, but I usually keep 3 or 4 jobs. So this is the first time in my life that I don't have 3 or 4 jobs going on. And I'm African American. Like, what are you saying about that stereotype?
Right.
That doesn't mean every Black person is sitting at home saying, let me collect a check. And randomly, actually, the stats prove that that's not the fact. Now, if you want to go into the heart of South Bronx or go to the part of Westchester that's, broken down or something, yeah, you're going to find that. Go to a certain part or a certain area of anywhere, you're going to find that. And that's just those people. That's a very small part. So we shouldn't lump each other together. And quite frankly, I'm so into, can we all get along? Because we're all from the same cloth. Like I'm not better than you because of something and no one's better, vice versa. There is no such thing. We are one group of people and we have to start thinking like that. Because until we do, we'll keep doing this bickery, tickery talk, I call it. And it solves nothing and it gets us nowhere. So I'm saying we are one, and I don't care what if someone's thought is on African Americans to be lazy. First of all, that's a lie, because hello, who picked the cotton? I'm just saying. Just in a general history perspective, picking cotton is not an easy task. Okay. So people say, well, you didn't pick it. Your great grandmother or whoever picked it. And I was like, yeah, but you get the concept. We're not lazy people. There are some, like any culture, sitting at home eating bonbons, but not very many of us. Most of us want to earn a good living. We want to do the right thing. Sometimes people don't have the opportunity to do that. So if you're Haitian or Jamaican and you see somebody in your area who's sitting at home, maybe collecting a check, maybe they don't have skills like you have. Maybe they don't have the tools that you have. Maybe they don't have the family that you have to say, I'm going to go pick myself up by the bootstrap. It sounds like a great thing and I would do it. I'm that person, but not everybody's built like that. So I don't even want to beat up on, I may have beat up on those type of people mentally, saying physically or verbally, but not, I kind of not get those people, but I'm like, if you don't have options, that's what you get. You get crime, you get people teasing people, you get people doing mean things, bullying. That's what you get. So we have to do better on our language of each other because we have to teach people how to treat us, including ourselves. I hate to say it. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to me that Black people, we see what each other go through. And I've said this on the show many times. I don't care if you're the CEO, if you're the president, I don't care what job you have in the world. If you're Black, I know you're dealing with something. We're all dealing with the same shit, right? I don't care how much money you have, right? Remember Oprah went shopping and you know what I mean? They just treated her like she was nothing. So it doesn't matter. So, but a part of me I do understand when you come to America on the surface, and it does look like Black people are not doing anything, when in reality they're being held back from doing anything. And I'll give you an example. I think I told this story, and I'll make it quick. And then I'll go to you, Pam, and then Wayne. So I was working for this company, and me and this other white dude, we went. There was some jobs posted, and these jobs were paying like twice or three times what we were already making. So we said, man, we're gonna go for these jobs. So he went for the job, and the lady in HR, she told him, you need all this education. So what you need to do, you need to take these classes, and if you pass, if you average a B+, the company will pay for your classes. She said, take this class, you pass that, we'll pay for it, and you take the next class, and once you pass that, then you get that certificate, and then you can apply for the job. And once you apply for the job, then there's a specialized training for employees of the company, and the job is pretty much almost yours because you already work for the company. Gave him all the steps to get this job. So he came out, he told me. So I said, cool. So I'm going to go in now and ask about this job. He said, yeah, Carl, this is what they're doing, man. Yeah, let's go get it. I'm like, all right, bet, yeah. So I go in next day, I said, and I sat down with the HR lady. I said, yeah, I'm here about the jobs that were posted on the board back then. For the young folks, there was a board that they had. And so I sat down, and all she said to me was, I'm sorry, but you're not qualified. Now I'm thinking, okay, I know that, but tell me what you told him. Give me the steps. I take this class, and then once I get that certificate, I get training, blah, blah, blah. Take me through the steps. I'm saying this in my head. All she said was, she said it with a big smile, big wide smile. I'm sorry, but you're just not qualified. I'm sorry. And to myself, I say, no, I can't even get upset. Because here I am in this little HR office with this white lady. If I show any kind of aggression, security is going to show up. I mean, it's not going to end well. So I had to say thank you, get up and smile, and just leave. Now, anybody coming to America is not going to know stuff like that happens, right? So on the surface, it looks like Black people are not wanting to do anything. And in reality, I mean, it's like Jaws. Remember the movie Jaws, and the girl was being yanked under the water? You can't see the shark under the water, but it's there. If you get my analogy. But Pam, I'm going to go to you, and your understanding of why Black Americans and Africans think that they're better than, or Americans think that they look down on them. And I've heard Africans say that Americans don't want to work. I've heard it from Africans, and I've heard it from people from the Caribbean, that these Black Americans don't want to work.
Yep.
Go ahead, Pam.
So, my take on it is this. Generally speaking, when people migrate to a country, it is for an opportunity, an economic opportunity, usually, unless you're in a war-torn area or something like that. People from the Caribbean and I would say the majority of people that come from the Caribbean and from Africa to America are coming to better themselves or to better their family situations back home. So therefore, you don't find the upper crust of those countries generally coming here for economic betterment. They're coming maybe they're coming to better their education, but they're not coming because of desperation. So those people we're going to put aside for a minute. The folks who are coming over who used to cut the cane or do all those laborious jobs, and they finally were able to bring their families over here, they were here to better themselves. And the jobs that they were willing to take, kind of like the people from South America and Central America when they come here, they're more willing to take on those menial, labor-intensive jobs because although they're so horrible here, they're even better than what they came from. So yes, they are going to work longer hours. They are going to take those hard jobs that you're going to bust your ass. That generally Americans who are here are saying, hell no, I did my time in the fields already. I ain't going for that. You're not going to put the okie doke and pay me $3 an hour to pick your strawberries or whatever the rate is that they get. So people who come here and take those kind of jobs and work their fingers to the bone, they may look at an American who says, I'm not taking that job. I'll sit at home first. So I think that's where they may see Black Americans as being lazy. And I think it depends on what perspective you're looking at. So when you have people who are working like that, let's say 16-hour days or whatever it is in the most menial jobs and just busting their asses constantly for very little. And then you look at an American who says, damn it, I got rights. And guess what? The government over there, they're going to give me a check until I can get myself a better job. But you're not going to treat me the way you treated me for the last 400 years. You know what I'm saying? It's a different perspective that people are coming from. So I can see why people from other countries coming saying Americans, Black Americans are that way. But on the other hand, you can understand why Black Americans in some situations are defiant against the white culture. The other thing is too that, again, like you mentioned, Carl, you go home to 98% of people looking like you. Here, it's flipped over. So you've always seen people in all different levels of society who look just like you. We have not always had that in America. So, again, different perspectives. As far as the bullying is concerned, every ethnicity, every nationality that comes over here gets bullied. The English would have picked on the Irish and the Scottish. It's something unfortunate about, I guess, the human existence. It seems as though there's always somebody to look down on, and that is the person that you just start to pound on. So I don't think it's a Black thing. I think it's a human thing, unfortunately. But of course, because we are Black, we kind of group that in together.
Yeah,
so it's a bit of a switch.
The girl that said her dad hates Black Americans because he got bullied, when he first came. Like you just said, is a difference between bullying and it's poking fun at. People make fun of an accent.
Sometimes it's bullying. Sometimes it's a physical aggression too.
But compare that to Black Americans who people want Black people dead. They want to kill them just for being Black. You know what I mean? Whereas the Black Americans just bullying, just making fun of the way you talk. I mean, that's what people do. You know, they make fun of the way you talk and make fun of your accent.
Yeah,
When
but
I
it's
was in
still hurt.
Barbados, we had a couple of people from America going to school, and we used to make fun of the way they talk. You know.
Well, look, listen. I
sure they
came
came
to
back to
Barbados when I
America.
was. Yeah, I came to Barbados when I was six. Yeah, and I left when I was 14. In those years, I got called poor grade. I, as a white, you don't speak like a Bajan. Like, I got everything pounded on me because I was different, and that's where that human nature comes in, where anything that is not what you consider the norm, it is the butt of ridicule and jokes and everything else. You know, and that's what we deal with on a day-to-day basis until it becomes a physical thing or something where somebody gets hurt. You know, it just seems like it's something that just not
I have a
naturally
very
happens.
interesting Nigel Conover, hope I said he
Conover.
Conover, right? He said, "How can you come from a third world country and feel superior at the same time?" I don't even know how to take that. Like, what do you
Can
mean?
I say that? I can tell you.
When people say third world country, they're thinking of a country with no water, no roads. You know what I mean? We live in huts. That's how I take that. Like,
I know what he's referring to. It's kind of salacious. I know what he's referring to, but
he means how can
I
you
know
come
what you
from
mean.
a country and look down on Americans? Is that what you're saying?
He means they don't.
Very easy.
He means coming here for opportunity, and then you're going to tease somebody. It doesn't make sense. But go ahead.
No, he means like you said, coming from huts and stuff like that, and because it's quote unquote a third world country. But what you have to remember is that we come from a place where, because of the colonial influence, we were taught how to use a knife and fork properly. We were taught how to speak proper quote unquote proper English, right? And we come over here and we're taught that, you know, there's certain things you should not do, and there's certain things that you should be very proper and keep yourself a certain way. And when you look at quote unquote freedom of African Americans and the fact that they do what, you know, in our perspective, at least in my perspective, it was like they do what they want, when they want, how they want. They don't care.
That's the American way.
When they see a white, they do not speak properly. They speak the way they want to speak, and dare you to defy them. These are all terms I'm using because of what he said. So when you see when a person, let's say from the Caribbean, sees an African American, the way African Americans the way African Americans confront
we got to give
America is different.
Yeah, but
go ahead, Tanya. Then we're gonna go to Wayne.
No, I'm just saying that in that context is when I, as an African American, get really, because I'm like, wait, what? Who said proper English? Because just because they were English don't mean it's proper. They said it was, but that don't mean it was. Because we all spoke cave at one point. I'm just saying. So I get a little bit in the claws when I hear stuff like that.
Why is the white man's English
going on? Like, I speak good English, and then I learned how to use my forks, and then it's like, what? We were all digging in the darn thing and eating with the chick mom like this. I mean, what happened? So I get freaked out, but that's just me. It's okay. Right. I get what the young man's saying, though. I do get what he's saying. I get the context of what he's saying. How about that?
All right, Wayne worked in a hotel. Wayne, I don't know if you want to run from this, Wayne. But strap on your seatbelt.
Hello.
Wayne said you worked at a hotel. Tell me if I can get this story wrong, Wayne. Wayne worked at a hotel. There were some Black Americans. There were some Black Americans at the hotel, and I think, Wayne, did you or somebody at the hotel ask them if they had niggeritis? In Barbados, when we say you got niggeritis, right. They're getting really sleepy.
They were listen.
And the Black Americans complained.
Let Wayne tell the story.
But it was a tour.
Okay.
And it was really a natural thing that if you just ate, you get sleepy. Right. The same Barbados, got niggeritis. We didn't think anything about the word niggeritis. We didn't worry about it. It was not an issue. We said it. It was it was what it was, right? But he was on a tour bus, and the guests felt they had a meal, and they said, oh, we feel a little tired now. He said, oh, we call that nigger riders. Look, there were 2 Black Americans on that bus, and they flipped out. They went ballistic. It
was only 2, you said?
On the bus at the time.
I probably would have flipped too.
Yeah.
I would have flipped.
They got on the bus and they went straight to the office. They wanted the guy fired, but he didn't think he did anything wrong because it was.
Well, nobody in Barbados would think anybody. We said, I mean, right. we got what do you call
it here too? But we say it here.
Okay. You say it here too?
We say it here too as a joke between family members or something, but not on a bus in front of I've heard it. Yeah. I've heard it.
It's a time and a place for all things.
Exactly.
I mean, but it's not. There's no time and a place because that word is not as intense in the Caribbean as it is here. So that's the big difference. Like,
yes,
that's did the tourists know that? The tourists know that?
No,
nobody. I mean, what do you call the little hot peppers in Barbados? The tiny, really hot peppers. What do you call them?
Nigger peppers.
Nigger peppers.
What do you call them?
Nigger peppers.
Nigger peppers.
Well, that's because you've been colonized by the colonizer.
Yeah.
It trained you well.
Yeah. So So you're right. I'm just. You know what I mean? Like, and we did. Remember that game, Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, catch a nigger by the toe? He's saying, you guys didn't say that? No.
Listen, let me give you a joke on that. I was in Barbados doing a tour, and it was around Valentine's, and I was a tour guide, so we were having fun. It was this American song, Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, catch a lover by the toe, And I said on the bus, I said, hey, you know that song? And it's this white lady from England. She said, I don't know Eeny, Meeny, Miny. I don't know that one, but I know the one that says, catch a nigger by the toe.
She did.
Listen.
What?
Her trust said, Grandma, you can't say. Listen. And I kept a straight face. You know what I mean? So, hey. Yeah, I catch a straight. But what I'm saying is that this whole thing, I grew up in the Caribbean, grew up in Barbados. And what do you think of Black
Americans? Wait, what do you think of
listen, that's what I'm saying. Growing up in Barbados are Bajan Yankees. You remember that term? Or Bajan Yankees? So when you're coming back, if you're born in America and you're coming back with Barbados, we say Bajan Yankee, right? And that was a natural term. But we used to look up to these guys when they're coming back home. We want to listen for the stories about America and things. So the reality is that I am not familiar with the fact that Caribbean people don't like Americans or we think they're lazy. We used to look up to the Black American. Most of our culture is influenced by Black American culture. In fact, most cultures all over the world, whether you're white or black, is influenced by Black Americans. That's a reality, right? But we got to be careful because growing up in the Caribbean, I don't know if Carl experienced this, I don't know if Pamela experienced this, but I used to get this type of thing, and we got to be careful of people dividing us because I remember this guy checking into the hotel and with his daughter, and she said, my dad don't want to be, he was from Trinidad. And I said, why? She said, Bajans, Barbadians, they don't like Trinities. And I said, who said
I heard that before? Mm-hmm.
Who told you that? And I went over to him and said, Dad, I heard you say that Bajans don't like. I said, listen, I'm going to give you the rest of the week. You tell me if that's a true story. Listen, he extended his stay. He had a wonderful time. He said he don't know where because some of the stories that you get is really stories that is being portrayed out there to divide us as people. Yeah. I've met African people. I live in Canada right now. I've never heard an African person say something negative about a Black American. What? In fact, in all the issues, living in Canada.
But I have.
I was about to say I have.
But which means it's not a norm.
And I corrected them with love, but I have. I've had really bad insults, and right in front of.
It's not a norm. I think it's come in defense sometimes because sometimes like somebody say you're stupid, but you're foolish too. You know what I mean? I think some of those comments come from something like that because something was done one time to say, tell me, where are these cities? They were all cities in Africa that is extremely beautiful. The skyscrapers, and people call all names in Europe. They never mention a word of these cities are in Africa. They went to Black Americans. So we as a people, we talk about third world countries. They got Nigerians that live in Nigeria, have never been out of Nigeria other than for business, are extremely wealthy, live high standards of living. The Caribbean people who will not live anywhere else, they live high standard of living. In fact, some people give up more from the Caribbean that I know of and come to Canada and say, "Oh, let me try this." I'm serious. Some people live a very comfortable life and move to which is kind of weird, but they're comfortable. They live in nice homes. They live in wall, not the huts or anything. Because some people believe that we live in huts in the Caribbean. We say hooga hooga until they arrive in Barbados and they recognize, whoa, these we got
ignorant. It's not that, Wayne. You know what it is? It's that when you, and that's for anybody, when you have someone teasing you about something, then you would expect them to have way more than you do. That's just a thing when you're a kid, especially when you're a young kid. You know what I'm saying? If I'm teasing Pam and I'm saying, let's say something like, oh, Pam, your braids are so-and-so and my braids are all busted, it kind of takes away from me insulting her. So it's some of the kids that I've talked to, they seem to think that, they're teasing me saying they're better than us. And like, why are they coming here? So that theory does kind of apply. Like, to me, in my opinion, I don't care what anybody says. If you're going somewhere else, right? And that includes myself too. If I'm going to live in Europe or wherever I go, I don't know. I'm not going to go there and disrespect the people. That's just me. That's my personal thing. So I find it very offensive when someone tells me, Black Americans are lazy. Cause I'm like, which Black people they know? Cause the ones I know all work and they got high-end jobs. I don't know what they're talking about. So I get really, really out of shape. But lately, in the last 10 years or so, I'm very good at correcting people and with love instead of being like, what'd you say? I don't do that anymore. I just say, well, could you tell me why you think that? And then they'll tell me the story about they got bullied or whatever. And I'll say, well, the people that bullied you, that's those people in that area. That's not all Black people. And I can bring you places that will absolutely show you the difference. And so we all have to stop taking those stereotypes and even myself, I have to bring it down a notch when I hear people say, oh, we're, island girls are better than you guys. Like one girl told me, I don't know if she thought because she was lighter or something that she was cuter or something. She just basically told me she's better than us because she looks better. And I was like, look better? What you mean look better? And I'm only assuming it was because of her complexion that she was saying. I was like, as far as features, what are we talking about? And she couldn't break it down.
Yeah,
and
you want
to jump in?
I wonder what.
Well, that's another. Yeah, it's not, no. She was lumping it all together. She goes into the, we're smarter. She just went into all these weird this, and I said, "Girl, we're all the same. Stop."
But how old?
Let Tiffany jump in. Tiffany hasn't had a talk in a while, so Tiffany.
In the 20s, exactly.
I'm definitely enjoying. But my message to everybody of all walks of life: do not judge nobody until you do their history. Okay, I'm not going to judge you because you're from Barbados, because I'm going to know your history. I'm going to learn your history. You understand? I'm not going to judge you from St. Vincent because I'm going to learn your history. My thing is learn people's history, learn the African-American history, learn what happened before you even judge. Even now, we got Google. You can Google anything. You can find out everybody's background, their history, and what they went through. And you'll look back and say, we are not lazy. We didn't go through it, because if it wasn't for my ancestors, I can go back to 1786 when my ancestors came here to Virginia. You understand? And if it wasn't for my ancestors, I wouldn't be here. So that means they made it. You understand what I'm saying? And just like y'all ancestors, they made it through, because a lot of them jumped off those boats. A lot of them took their lives. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't want to do it, but we did it and we made it. And I think that, like you said, there's a lot of conquer and dividing us. It's time for us to grow up now. Is like you said, what age are we at now? I mean, we should not be against one another. We should be trying to help each other, because now, since this pandemic, they should have showed us that nobody cares about us.
Yeah.
They don't care if we're from Haiti, from America, from what's going. If we Black, they don't care. So that means it's time for us to get on our job and start taking care of ourselves and building foundations. You have people coming from all different cultures and backgrounds, building their foundations in quiet, and we over here making all this noise for nothing against one another. It's really sad that so many people have been bullied or hurt because of their background and culture. And like I said, that's ignorance. That comes from your background. Your mama didn't raise you, right? Or your mama going through something, or she went through. That's not right. You don't do that. You understand? But like I said, my experience is that, don't get it twisted, I love my West Indian people. They taught me almost everything about beauty, hair, fashion, everything. But when it came down to like business and being in the salon and Ray Tay, oh my gosh, it was fights and all. It was just too much for me, and I felt like, you know what, it's time to just move on. And it's just too much. But like I said, I think that we all need to stop fighting amongst one another, learn about each other's cultures, learn about each other's foods and background. Learn each other, and maybe we can build from each other.
Yeah. Tiffany, you hit on something really important. I grew up in Barbados, and Carl might be able to tell you about this. We even kind of discriminate on someone who's from the country or who's from town.
That is
There
true.
you go.
Listen, you live in the country.
That is true.
You live in the
We
country.
do it here in New York. We do it.
Listen,
when I moved out of Brooklyn, they teased me, and when I was up here, they teased me. So same thing.
So we find something to divide us. But Tiffany, you say something is very, very important, and I'm not blaming the mothers and the fathers and the parents. The reality is that I didn't know a lot about Jamaica and Jamaicans, because Kara will tell you this, and Pamela might tell you this. It's more expensive for me to travel 2 hours away or 45 minutes away to St. Lucia than to go to New York. They make it difficult for me to go and learn my brothers and sisters' culture. It takes about 4 hours to fly from Barbados to Africa. I got to go to Europe first. I got to go to America first. So I can't even say, look, you know what? I want to go to Kenya. I want to go to Africa and see what it's like. And I go, wow, this place is beautiful. These people, look, I have 2 friends that just moved to Kenya. They say, Wayne, you got to do it. You got to do it. They say from the time they landed at the airport, the people at the airport say, welcome home.
Yeah.
And then one is Jamaican and one is Barbadian. We do not know about each other. They haven't educated us. They didn't educate. They tell me about Cromwell and some English old person. I don't know about my true African history. I had to learn it myself. Why did I have to do that? So the reality is that I knew a lot about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And I learned a lot about Caribbean and African history, and we have to be very careful that when we start attacking each other, because the reality is South Carolina, those places are Barbadians. When slavery was abolished, those people moved. These people moved to. So many people can trace the roots right back from America straight back to the Caribbean. So
they're all from Africa.
Can I just say something? It's just different stops on the same boat. So
exactly.
To say that we're different or we came from different, that's
why I laugh.
A slave boat. It first came down to Barbados and Jamaica. That's where they broke us, and then they'd ship us over to the United States. So again, knowledge is power.
That's
but they don't let us. They don't let us have it. They don't educate us in the
school.
We got it now.
Curriculum. There's no school curriculum that tell you your journey. What we don't know. Look, the African don't even know his own history. I'm serious.
I know my history. That's by design, right? That's by design. That's what they wanted. They wanted. They did not want us to know anything about it. They still don't want us to. I heard. I think this is was it Florida? I forget. But just yesterday, the 14th state has banned critical race theory.
Yeah.
Personally, I do not like the title critical race theory. I think it's stupid. I think what they need to do is revise the whole damn history curriculum and put in us where we are supposed to be.
That's
so
right.
you know, but when you come to that, it's about division, but it's also, if you don't know any better, you can't do any better. And that's what they have always tried. They've always tried to keep us away from our truth. But anyone who's over the age of 20, I don't give them a pass on any of their ignorance. Because when I turned out, once I came out of high school, actually, I started reading books. I started with novels, and then I started reading other non-fictional books to inform them of the Black American experience, but also the experience in the Caribbean. And if you talk about Google, you have to be careful when you start telling people to go look on a computer, because if you have 50,000 references that are accurate, you got another 50,000 that are not. So people have to also learn how to use.
That's why it's important to travel.
Travel, but even with travel, you got to be careful where you're getting your information from.
No, but if I want to know about Africa, why would I be asking somebody who's American? I'm just saying. That's just me. I personally believe I want to learn go to France. If I want to learn about Barbados, go to Barbados, because anything else you get is third hand.
But when you go to those countries, you have to be careful the information that you're getting from the people of that country, because not everyone of that country is truly knowledgeable of certain aspects of that.
Right. So, but if you, like Tanya said, if you are living in the country, you can experience firsthand. I mean, if you're in that country, you're obviously going to be meeting a lot of different people, and you can make your own judgment. You know,
you're talking about living as opposed to visiting.
But if you visit, you're going to be a week, 2 weeks, maybe.
When I visit, I have a
own judgment.
Can I ask you this, Karen? If you visit Barbados for 2 weeks as a Black man or wherever, you're surrounded by racism in America. There are Black people in Barbados. There's no racism here. We are
Thank
majority.
you. Thank you.
We're the majority.
Thank you.
But the truth is that there's more racism because the minority controls the majority in Barbados.
Because Barbados, we all know, and this is no secret, Barbados is brainwashed. Most pages.
The Queen owned it.
I was about to say it's in the DNA.
Yeah, we are brainwashed. We are 98. Tiffany, we are 98%. Barbados is 98% Black.
Yes.
And we own about 2% of the wealth, or what, maybe 1%.
And that's not good.
You know what I mean? White people are 2%. We're 98%. But the white people own 98% of the wealth. We own 2%.
And the Black system, the politicians, they keep it that way. They keep it that way. And it's
when you talk about the politicians, though, Wayne, you got to think about the fact of they are now held. Well, I guess they've always been held hostage by the imperial Americans and British, which is a white system. So it's not like we have our own, we're in our own little cocoon that we could have. We got the IMF up in there now, all these different national organizations that are telling us what we need to do.
Let's bring it back. I think when people come to a country, I think they should make it. If you're going to live in a country, you should make it your business to find out about about the country and the people and the cultures and stuff. Because going back to when Africans come to America, when people from the Caribbean come to America, and they look at the way Black people are living, and they think that it's their fault, that they like living. I swear to God, when I first came to this country, and I'm like, I met so many Black Americans, and it's like they all had this, I would say, attitude. Like they were a little pissed. They had an edge. And I'm like, why is that? Like, you know what I mean? You can't tell me that all of these people have the same attitude and there's something wrong. No. So I started researching. I started reading. I started asking questions. I started working. I started experiencing what it was like to be Black. But I did realize when white people, if I didn't open my mouth, I was treated horribly. But when I got
one for you. I got one for you. Make you laugh.
But when people find out when white people find out I'm from America, I'm not American, They softened up.
They calmed down.
Yes, they could. And it never made me. It made me wonder what the hell is that? Because I'm like, I have Black American friends who should be the way you treating me is the way you should be treating my Black American friends. You know what I mean? But it was never. And so a lot of people from the Caribbean, they suck that up. Oh, they love me. Oh, the white people love me, and they love me, and they wash their bodies. Oh, they don't like the Black American. They like the Black person from Barbados. Yeah, But I didn't go that route. I go, what is going on here?
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Like
There's something on, but that's because I didn't know Black people weren't getting jobs because of the name. I didn't know there was if your name sounded Black, you would not get hired. We don't know that, and this is why I think a lot of people that come to the country, they just see the surface, and it looks to them like everything is fine, but it's not. Once you start to go below the surface, you know what I mean? People are put in certain neighborhoods because they're Black. My neighbor told me that
redlining.
They named
redlining.
Just by the name of the streets, they can tell where Black people live. By the name of the streets.
Yes.
And even by your zip code, you get extra points for the college. Like, so if you're gonna go to a top university, depending on your zip code, can actually make or break you.
But this is all stuff that somebody coming from Africa, they don't know that. Somebody coming from the Caribbean, Barbados, Jamaica, they don't know that.
But Carl, we say that I will say this too. I've never been to America, right? But you hear stories, right? Yeah. No, I refuse to pay for a visa. So, but pardon me.
Go ahead.
I refuse to pay $400 for a visa. But okay, you said people say Black Americans are lazy. So a Barbadian get on a plane and he's moving to America, and he lands in the Bronx. And what he sees, young men just lying in, and they're not doing anything. He's seeing the crime issue, and he's getting up and going to jobs. He's trying to educate himself, but he's seeing a whole lot of Black people that look like him that are not doing it.
Two different backgrounds.
Right. So that's what he sees. So is he wrong in saying, from what he saw, they're lazy? Is he wrong in saying?
Let me tell you something, Wayne. Let me tell you something. When I first started working in this country, I would take days off just so I don't have to go to work and deal with white people.
Okay.
Sorry.
You know that I wasn't sick. I just could not deal with more of this white bullshit. And I would take sometimes I take 2 days, I might take 3 days.
Can I say one other?
Yes. So when you see people,
I was going to say that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
When you see people lying on the street, what I mean, it does look like they're lazy and they don't want to work.
That's what I'm saying. Perception, right?
Right. You go on a job, they ignore you, they don't promote you. You can be there 15 years, they hire somebody white, and you got to train that person as white that's making more money than you.
But I got one for you. The lady.
So all that dealing with all of that would not want to make you want to go to work and work with these people and deal with all this racist. They're not saying they don't like you, but they're treating you like they don't like you.
Yeah.
And if Black people are lazy, why would you go 50,000 miles to Africa to bring back people who lazy to pick cotton and do all
That's right.
Why would you go that far to bring back lazy people to do your work?
I'll tell you 2 things from my experience. I remember working in a hotel in Barbados again, and this white lady from England, she said, "Oh my God, you guys are so friendly, but the ones at home, they have chips on the shoulders. The ones at home," she means Blacks.
Yeah, because the Blacks at home know how evil they are, right?
She knew to say that to you and not say it to me because all my Black hair will come out. How dare you? How dare you? If it wasn't for my ancestors, nobody would be walking over here in shoes. Okay, we went through all that marching and all that, people losing their children in the till. Everybody's just no.
But they say comfortably because my friend, I have a friend, you probably know the Roses. He went to Africa to teach, and he was in South Africa watching a soccer game, and there was a fight and between two footballers, And he said, this white guy said it naturally. He said, you know, you put them in soccer, now they're fighting. That's how they behave. But he was talking to a black man, I mean, Carl. But he felt so comfortable because he was from the Caribbean. He was. Don't forget, we have a cricket team called the Honorary Black, or the Honorary Whites, or something that went to South Africa from the Caribbean.
But that's because. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So what I'm saying is though that this issue comes up. There's a whole set of things. It's similar to how we talk about children lack discipline, and we blame the parents, we blame the teacher, we blame the school, we blame the system, we blame everything. The reality is that the division between us as a people, one is education. We really don't spend time understanding and knowing each other. And secondly, there's something called self-hate. We hear our own self. I met an African lady, and she said she was talking about dating and stuff. You know, she said, you know, African men, and she was criticizing African men. So what's wrong with them? And she was talking about African men. I said, quite obviously, you dated Caucasian guys. I said, so are you dating one? And she said, no, at the last Caucasian day, he was just a bum. I said, Jesus. I said, so it's self-hate. It is self-hate because we don't love ourselves. And we look at each other, we pull down each other, we criticize each other. So Caribbean people, you know, the American might say, oh, those Caribbean people need to show us some respect. The Caribbean people say, oh, the Americans need to show us respect. They don't respect us. And the reality is, when you check our history, our cultures influence each other, because and we in the Caribbean look up to the American culture, the good and bad of it. I'm serious. We look up to the American culture. I know about Martin Luther.
Caribbean culture is too docile, though. We are too docile.
So,
we take.
Excuse me, Haiti.
Except for Jamaicans and Haitians.
Haiti.
But Barbados.
Barbados, because we were
we were on a little plantation. But remember the history of Barbados.
Well, we had a revolt also.
All right, let Tanya go. Go ahead, Tanya.
But Wayne, you have very good points. But I do want to say that you have good points about us doing a lot of the things. Because I was thinking about that too. I was like, what is it? So what do we do that is the same, that is good? I looked at some of the dishes that my Nigerian friends make, my African-American friends in Georgia make versus my friends in the Bronx or Brooklyn, or my Caribbean friends make. And I'm like, we all have our version of oxtails. What's up? I mean, really. So there's some things that we do that we don't even know it comes from Africa. I forgot the name of the dish. There's a dish there that I call it. It's like their version of a beef stew, and there's another one like a version of oxtail. But it comes from there, and we done filtered over to here to the different islands or to different places. But we do the same. We were doing the same thing. What spices do we all use? Probably pretty much the same ones. I'm just saying. So we do a lot of things alike, and that's the part I like to concentrate on. Is, you know, like, oh, Pam, what do you put in that? And, you know, oh, or someone, so what do you put in that? I'd like to concentrate on that if I could. But I did want to point out one thing you said about African Americans being lazy and stuff like that. You know what it is for everybody who thinks that we're lazy? I want to just make you think about something. Once you have rights, right? Once you have rights and once you lived in America, right, long enough, right, and you've been here for 30 years, whatever, or you were born here, it's just like, I can't explain it, but when you know your rights, it becomes a different beast. So Pam, I know you said the other part about, well, they're like, well, I'm not gonna work for that. I'm not gonna work for this amount of money. But sometimes it's not even that so much as it is like, no, this is not right and it's not fair. And I know my rights and I know what's fair. And so you become a stickler. And to someone else who's not from here, they're looking at us like, you bum. Why didn't you take that $2 an hour job? I'm like, no, because they're supposed to give me 15. And I know that I'm not going to be having a heart attack over $2 an hour. That's not going to happen. So people criticize us, but you got to stop and think that there is a difference between being totally lazy, and there are some human beings that just are. That's not black or white. I can find someone in each culture, any culture you name, I can find someone that is in that category, right? But you got to find, there's a difference between ones who, like I personally, I won't do certain things because I know too many rights, and I'm very much a stickler on them. So somebody might say, "Oh, you're a bum." I'm not a bum. I'm just utilizing the little bit that America thinks that I think that it gave me. I really don't have any rights technically, but you know what I'm saying. You're utilizing the little bit you have. So I wish the people would stop saying that, because there are some people that are like that. But if you look at even those people that you're probably talking about, I guarantee you they're probably in a situation where they're downtrodden and, you know, this whole thing going on. And that's why they're doing what they're doing, not because they're black. You know what I'm saying? Because I can name white bums, black bums, Chinese bum. I can name every nationality of a bum if you needed me to. You know what I'm saying? So we have to think about when someone's born with rights and that's all they were brought up on. They are going to be less likely to say, yeah, I'll just do anything because that's what we're going to do, which may not be right or wrong. It's no judgment either way. I'm just saying.
And then you have certain, right. Then you, sorry for cutting you off. Then you have certain people that their paperwork is not together. So they have to settle for certain pays because of their paperwork. You know, and like I said, a lot of African-American people is like, I'm not going to work for that cheap price. You know, because like you said, I know I got rights, you know, where somebody else that they don't have their paperwork, they're going to do that because that's going to add up for them because that's better than what they had in their other country or wherever, you know, where their people came from. Also, it's prejudice, not only with the West Indians or but it's prejudice with the Indians. The Indians.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole new show.
Wait a minute. Let me give y'all this. One day I was in the car with my white father. I call him my white father. He was a photographer. He was in the front seat with him and his secretary. Okay, they white. I'm in the back, chilling. We go up to a gas station, and this Indian man he got a golf club and he's swinging it and stuff. You know how white people are. Here go George. So what do you play? And I'm in the back like, George, just let him pump your gas. Let's go, right? He was like, no, this is for black people. I jumped from the back of the seat to the front. I had beads in my hair and everything. I know he's like, dang, Africa, jump from the back. I said, how dare you talk about black people? He was like, I'm so sorry, man, but they be giving me problems. I said, you know why? Because your mouth is nasty. You didn't even know when a black sister was sitting in the back, but you felt comfortable enough to say this in front of this white man. Okay, now you know. So by the time I finished with him, my white father was like, you made her mad. Yes, she did. So it's prejudice all over, and it's ridiculous. Like I said, it's time to remove it because regardless to what, we're black. You saw, exactly. Like you said in Ukraine, what happened? You black, you still, they was holding your behind back. Anywhere you go, they're going to persecute you. Why? Because we are the mothers and fathers of civilization. Okay, we are the ones. If it wasn't for us, nobody would be here. I call white people our children. Okay, they're just mad children right now. They're gonna be all right. But if it wasn't for us, it would not be nobody here. So my thing is, we gotta love each other, and I'm glad that I was raised with a mother that taught me history. I'm glad that I was raised around scholars that learned from scholars from Africa, like Dr. Henry Clark and them. You understand what I'm saying? My mother made sure. Yes, and Dr. Ben, yes. I used to sit there at the slave theater on Fulton Street. If y'all don't know, y'all can Google the slave theater where they was all
Al Shelton every Saturday afternoon.
Okay, my mother had us down there learning our history and our black history, and we was around all cultures and background. So my thing is, I think it starts at home. We have to learn, like you said, love each other. You know, love your family. So when they go out in the street, they know not to bully or be nasty. Ain't nobody lazy. We all work. We all bust our behind. We've been working our behinds off for nothing. Look at everything now. Everything is going up, but our pay is not going up. So what that means, we got to work 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs. And yes, we want to salute the West Indians because y'all do work 4 and 5 jobs. I understand. I might do 2, but I'm not doing 4 and 5. But you know, I salute it because I salute the work ethics and all of that.
I did 4.
Okay, you know, I salute it, you know, but we have to stop going against one another and calling each other lazy because what we need to be working on right now is mental health. Nobody wants to talk about mental health.
Ooh, talk about
Most of these people out here are having issues because something ain't right.
Like the people, not to go off topic, but the people punching people in the head in New York on the subway.
In New York City. All that stuff in New York City. All mental illness. Yep.
I won't even go. Listen, I won't even go on the train because the last time I went on the train, an incident happened and I could not believe it. I said, you know what? I would get in a cab or I would just wait because it's too much. It's too much energy. Like I said, we need to work more on mental health. We need to work more, like you said, on education. You know, for our children, we also need to work about getting our children into trades. Do you know that they took trade out of the Black schools? They took it out.
Oh,
you understand? You know, they don't want us to learn that, but we have our people from the islands that know how to do all of this. I want my nephews to know how to build something. These young people don't know how to build nothing today. My father knew how to build. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we need to be working on helping each other build. That's what we need to, and stop fighting once against each other. I'm tired of this black on black crime, to be honest with you.
Well, that's
I know they say when Africans and Caribbean people come to America, one of the things I've heard is that I think Kevin had told us a story where he went to buy a car and this African guy had the car dealership and he was bragging to Kevin about he's from Africa and he got he's selling cars and he got his own dealership and Black Americans, you know what I mean, they don't have nothing, and you know, he's going on and on bragging. Okay, I mean, so you were able to start a little dealership. Why not help somebody? Huh?
But I don't even I'm sorry. Please don't take it. I'm sorry. I have the side eye on my African people when it comes down to business. They just too high up on the scams right now.
Yeah.
You gotta double check. You gotta go on Yelp plus Yelp to check people out.
Yep. Well, plus, I mean, I just have a problem with the fact that you're selling off all your resources and defaulting on loans that now other people own you, and we're like trying to help you get it back, keep it together, whatever we need to do to be together, and y'all just like bypassing us, like we don't care. Instead of saying, let's all get together and we can rely on this resource and do it ourselves, but nope, that's not working. So I don't know.
It's the mental. Nobody's on that mind frame. Everybody is for themselves. You understand? And they don't care if they got to cut you down to get to it. They just for themselves.
Yes, which is why you don't have any of the celebrities like Carl always talks about saying, hey, why don't we buy our own basketball arena and start our own NBA or whatever. That's why you don't have that, because everybody's for themselves. I got mine. Good luck, Pam. You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't understand why Africans and people from the Caribbean, when they come here, why don't they join with the Black Americans? And, you know, but obviously that's, you know,
Jim Crow did a good job. That's all I can say. Jim Crow did a good job.
Why didn't you?
Huh?
Why didn't you?
Why didn't you do it?
I did it. I'm doing it. I did it, and I'm doing it.
Who did you join together with when you came here?
Who did I join together with? I mean,
you said,
yeah. I work with kids. I work with Black American kids. I do mentoring for Black American, you know, for kids.
No. I thought what you were saying is you don't know why when people come over here,
right? Like if you start a business,
right? So, did you?
No, but that's not what I was doing. I was doing something else. But other people do that. People I was doing comedy. You know, somebody was doing business. Somebody was doing plumbing. I can't do everything. I did my.
All I'm saying is you were saying that you don't know why, but yet you had. That's the point. Everybody has their own agenda.
Right. But I did it. I did it in my way, is what I'm saying. So the guy who
was doing it in their own way.
No. Yeah. Here's what I'm saying. The guy with the car dealership, instead of saying that I got a car dealership, why can't Black Americans get it? Why don't he get and help other Black people, American or whatever, get more dealerships or get more, you know, buy more cars or whatever? Why you got your one little, and it wasn't even like a big dealership from what Kevin was saying. It was some little rinky dink, you know, got some guy with 2.5 cars, you know, bragging about.
He might have brought it. Maybe he's working with his cousin to get his cousin a dealership.
So
it's all about connections, right?
Right. So instead of coming here and talking shit about the people that are already here, why not? You know, I'm asking. It's a rhetorical question, really. I mean, I don't have an answer for it, I'm just saying people come here, but it's perpetuated by what we see on TV. And I can tell you guys, Pam and Wayne, you know, we see very, very, very little good images of Black people, of Black Americans around the world. There's not a lot of
sad.
The most positive image we saw was Sidney Poitier. Am I right? Remember Sidney Poitier? Guess who's coming to dinner?
Yeah, because he's the crossover. He's a crossover. Right. He can do both.
You know the whites and the blacks. I had a friend. I was talking to her. I was on the phone, and I was taking the train to New York. This is the Metro North, a very nice train. She said, "Where are you at?" I said, "I'm on the train. I'm going into New York." She said, "Oh my God, the Black people are going to kill you." Said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "I watched those movies. Every movie she saw with Black people on the train." So that was her mental vision of being on the train.
North.
Of people being, but I'm saying, but this is the image that is sent across the world. So Black people gotta be ready. When you put out those videos that go viral with us doing stupid shit, it doesn't stay in America, you know.
It travels.
That's why they do it.
You know,
that's a part of the marketing.
But it's the kids sending it out. It's the kids posting their videos that are going out. You know what I mean?
Well, they're not thinking on a deeper level.
That's why parenting is very important.
They think it's just staying in their little hood, in their little neighborhood. These videos of them, you know, doing stupid stuff. But no, you post a video and it's in friggin', you know what I mean?
And it's not only African Americans or Black people. It's white kids doing stupid stuff too.
But
and they be doing all types of stuff.
You know what's funny, reason? Tiffany, is like stereotypes only seem to stick to us.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, stereotype. You see some Black people doing some stupid shit on TV. You go to work the next day, all the white people looking at you. Yeah, that's you people on TV. We see white people doing stupid shit on TV. We go to work, we see them. We don't even, you know what I mean? We don't say, "Hey, it's all you doing." You know what I mean?
We pick and choose, right?
Right.
Katrina, the Black people were looting, the white people were surviving.
Right.
You remember?
Yeah.
That's what the news was carried in under Katrina. The Black people are looting. Oh my God! Look at they're looting. When you see a group of white people, they're trying to survive.
Right,
and that's
what
the media. We got to blame the media because the
media,
Black media, the Black people who are on media, they sit there and they read a lot of crap about Black people too. Yes. So when you hear a Black man reading, pardon me.
You're going by the station manager. I used to do that field. And so it's not what Tanya thinks. It's whatever my manager or whoever's the executive director or whoever owns the station thinks. That's really what it goes down to.
So Angela Davis.
If they're liberal, if they're right.
What's up, Angela? Angela Davis Coleman. I guess she asked the question, who will be the change for the Blacks, etc.? Who will be the change?
Ourselves. Point the finger at ourselves. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we do this show week after week, and you know
we're the only ones that's going to save ourselves.
You know, and I know Kevin always says that we are changing little by little, but you know, I think you're right. We're going to have to be the change.
But we came a long way.
Yes.
Look at this. Let me tell you how you know. We are. If you just even look at little crazy things like Instagram posts and stuff like that, you see there are people out here really trying. They're trying to buy Black. They're trying to, change their image and try to do better and be more knowledgeable and get educated. They're trying very micro steps, but it's working. I don't want to believe the stereotype that, we're still stuck in the 1800s. And I don't want to blame anybody because it's nobody's fault at this point in 2022. It's our fault. Like we we're having this conversation. We all go back to the hut and everybody fan out and send the information out. That's how you do it. That's it. One person at a time. There's nothing else we can do. Ain't nobody going to save us. I'll tell you that. And as we know now, especially looking at Ukraine, nobody likes us. Nobody cares about us. So we got to get along, people. That's it.
So Emma Bird says, most Blacks can't get loans. We were dealt with differently. Foreigners are entitled to more than Blacks in America.
I heard that before.
They are.
I heard that before.
That's why the African can get the Latino, anybody else except for African American can get more of a loan than we can. Believe it or not. I know it's crazy, but
the East Asian people, they get loans and all of that.
But they also have other mechanisms in order to gather their money. It's not only
Tanya,
I believe that too. I believe that too. It's other.
I want Black Americans to, when you start your attack sometimes, and because I think it was Kevin said that on the last show that we did that Africans and Caribbean people are very disrespectful. They shed blood, and all these things that were said about people who supposed to be Black Americans. And the reality is, it was said to me to a point that when I come to America in the 60s, the 50s, and the 60s as a Black man from the Caribbean, as a Black man from Africa, I fall in line. I was part of the civil rights movements. I was part of all these. The 60s was a different thing for us. There was nothing about African and African American, and I think it's these stupid fellows that we call ourselves. You know what? I hear the Africans say, "Stop this African American and this Trinidadian American. You're African. Stop that. Stop letting people. Stop giving."
But
stop.
I don't think it's. I think what Kevin was saying is, I don't think we intentionally disrespect Black Americans. I think we grew up in a different society. We didn't go through all the hardships, all the horrible things that Black Americans go through. So we are not able to empathize, with what has happened in America. Like when Rihanna posted on Martin Luther King birthday, Rihanna posted a picture of Martin Luther King with a gold grill. And Twitter went crazy. They, thought she was disrespectful.
I didn't think anything was wrong with it. I thought that was cool. I was like, he was a gangster.
but
because we come from a different place, we didn't go through Jim Crow, so we come here and we all la-di-da. We kind of la-di-da a minute. Black people in the Caribbean, we come here real la-di-da. And we can't. Why is the Black America so angry? It's so lovely. The white people are so. I tell you guys, when white people come to Barbados on vacation, they are the sweetest. Would you have thought that America had racism from meeting white Americans in Barbados?
I wouldn't think Canadians have
never, right?
I wouldn't think
down there, right? Down there is the only white people smile when they see you coming, right? In Barbados.
Yeah.
How many white people smile when they
see you
his
way.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I was about to say the N-word. The help is on the way. Help us.
Right? When they say we're not they say we're nicer and we're so friendly, we're more, they don't say it out loud, but they mean we're more friendly than the Black people back home.
But some of them say it out loud too. But what I was saying to Kevin at the time, we all listen. I grew up in Barbados, and I knew it. I felt that there was a difference. I knew that it was difficult for me to have a business. Even in the field that I am in right now, Barbados tend to go and bring a white person to manage a hotel. I want you to understand these things. So we experienced these things. We dealt with these things. And when you talk about Africa experience,
subtle racism.
The King of Belgium killed over 20 million Congolese. 20 million people in 6 million.
And mutilated them.
No, we won't talk about that.
So when you talk about
chocolate
experiences,
fingers.
What I'm saying is that the Black American and the American who is Black experience is not no worse than the African who went through a whole heap of crap.
No, we can't compare that. We can't compare that. You know why? It was still hurt against us. I don't care what culture we're background. When you hurting another human being because of the color of their skin, that's a problem. And then when it comes from your own people too, because you want to please the white man, no, I'm sorry. I'm not comparing nothing because that put you in a situation when you want to compare other people's situations with ours. You understand? Regardless to what we suffered, and we're still suffering now because we don't have our own like that.
Yeah. But all right, so before I go, I'm going to put this question out to the panel, and so Dr. Umar Johnson.
That's my boy. I love Umar.
Dr. Umar Johnson said Black people should not care about the Ukrainians because they don't like Africans, and just for the way they're treating the Africans. We should not be supporting Ukrainians. I'm going to start with Wayne. I'm going to go to Pam, then Tanya, then Tiffany. What are your thoughts on Umar Johnson saying, should Black people care about Ukrainians?
My opinion about that is real. I like I said, I don't hate any race.
Yes.
But they say when a plane is traveling and there's an issue on the plane, put the mask on your face first before you try to save anybody else. Secondly, if you're a Christian, and I tell Christians this, a lady went to Christ and she said, teach me. Master, teach me. She was not of Christ's race. He said, must I give my food to the dogs? And she said, but master, even the dogs eat from the crumbs from the table. This is Christ in the Bible if you say you're Christian. But even Christ spoke about saving his people first.
Okay, so you're on.
If you call yourself a Christian. Listen, there are about 16 different wars going on in Africa now. Let's try to calm that down, save that down before we go to say we try to solve.
That's what Umar Johnson said. He said there's nothing says save the Congolese. America bombed the Congolese. They bombed Syria. There was nothing on the news, nothing saying save these Africans, but now they want us to save the Ukrainians. And we know why. They got blonde hair and blue eyes.
That's what they said.
Are you on Umar Johnson's wagon, or are you?
I feel sorry for the folks that are being bombed.
But
I think it's a terrible thing when any country is at war and being pushed around and bullied. However, I think I said this last time. You can tell a person's true character, not when everything is going all okie dokie, but when there's adversity and strife. And the way they have treated people of my complexion in this situation that are supposed to have been guests of their homes in their homeland speaks volumes. And I feel sorry for them, but no, I'm good.
Africa first. Okay, that's 2 for Umar. Tanya.
I'm not for Umar, but
so like Pam, right, like Pam said, I always empathize with any children or any person that's in the middle of something that they had nothing to do with. So that's just human factor. But I do feel that Poland and at the border, not all of Poland. So I know it's not all of Poland, but Poland at the border has shown who they are and what they feel about us, and Ukraine has shown what they feel about us. So I personally. Do what you got to do, but I'm not gonna. I was gonna go all out, and I said, "What am I going on if nobody? There's still wars in other parts of Africa, and nobody even mentions them." So I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. If you're gonna go out and help everybody, help everybody. Don't pick and choose who you help. And because we're brown, we're not our children. What about our little children? They don't show They don't show the children, the Palestinian children over in Israel that was all that stuff that was going on. They don't show those kids. I don't see them.
What happened to the children at the Texas borders? Have they all been reunited with their families?
Well, they got money. They got reparations. So they even got lucky.
Yeah, that's never
other people. No. But but to me, it's like everybody bypasses us. And as far as Umar Johnson's what he's saying, I get it. But I always have sympathy for children, no matter who it is or where it is. I just because, if I see a kid, I'm always going to have sympathy. But if you can't help us, then I'm not running to help everybody else. I can't do it.
You see, I'll say this. I'll say it before you go further. I came to this country, and you guys know the Canadian history of how they treat the First Nation people. And I always felt in solidarity, but at least they say to them, I'm sorry, they give them lots of money and stuff. But the one time in my life that somebody looked me dead in my face and called me nigger was a First Nation person.
Was it what kind of person?
First Nation. Young girl looked me in my face and she called me nigger. She said, do I have to deal with a nigger? The white person never called me that.
Okay, well, we talked about this earlier. We can't paint. I mean, that was one person.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's how other cultures feel about deep down inside.
But that's one, though.
But I want you to understand something, Carl. in a total setting, we are not, as a people, not loved. We love people, but we are not loved, and that's something we gotta get in our head first. If we need to start loving ourselves first. We want to solve everybody else's problems. We want to join in solidarity with all other issues, and we want to go to Ukraine, and we want to fight for the Ukraine. We want to do all these things, but people dying in America every day. How many black people is getting? Listen, people say change governments and black boys can stop getting shot in America, but it's still happening today. It's not making the news. But who's getting up and really, really fighting for that battle in America? But you're hearing people that want to fight for a battle in the Ukraine with people that don't look like them. I love all people. I don't have issues, but I want to see my people. Listen, I get excited when I see a black person in this country. I go up to them and say, "Hey, how are you? And where are you from?" I want to know. Because some of them look just like me, and they say, "Where you from?" is where I'm from. You know what I mean? But we don't do that. We want to fight.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. Go ahead, Tiffany. We read Umar.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Us black people, we have empathy and sympathy for so many people, all different. We just have it. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm with Umar. I'm not with no white on white crime, white on white drama. We got our own dramas over here. You know, I hope and pray they can work it out. But we over here trying to work some stuff out over here. Okay, we got our own stuff. So we pray for them. God is good. Because you know, black people, we'll send a prayer out. God bless y'all. You understand what I'm saying? But other than that, I can't get on that. Because like you said, you see how they treated those people. They treated the African people there trying to get over. They should have been just putting people on the train. Don't pick and choose who got to go on the train. You trying to go to safety. It's bombs on your ass. You trying to get out of there. You understand what I'm saying? You gonna try to hold the black people back? No, so I'm not with that. So I'm
and
for
the Indians and the Asians.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not for white on white crime.
But okay. We have a comment from Golden Gold says self-love is needed. And Emma Bird says exactly Tiffany. Exactly Tiffany. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap it up. Tiffany, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Tiffany.
I had fun with all of y'all. All of y'all, thank you.
Absolutely fun. You fit right in. You made the show what it was tonight. Thank you so much.
You,
Wayne, from all the way in Canada.
Wayne.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me over. Thank you very much.
And, we're gonna have you back, and you know, make sure you keep those white Canadians in their place.
But they're a little different. They give you a smile.
They're different, really.
They're like the British. They go.
They smile.
They smile while they stab you in the back.
Yeah. They're not like the American. I like the American white. Hey, nigga, I don't like you.
They let you know who they are. That's right.
Exactly. I love them. Listen, people was complaining about Trump. I said, I love Trump. He's showing me who he is. And he's bringing out the real people. I love Trump for that. If he doesn't know who you are,
like him too.
That's why he brought the real ones out, and you see who was who. Because he gives them confidence.
All right.
You know?
All right. Well, thank all you folks. I mean, please like and share our video. Please subscribe. Hit the notification button. And Tiffany, you have a hair shop in Brooklyn, or you do hair at your house?
I'm a freelancer, so I'd have to order me. And I'm a beauty director of Fashion Week Brooklyn. It's a fashion show that's been going for 14 years. So make sure y'all check it out. Fashion Week Brooklyn. Yes.
Fashion Week. Okay. So check out Tiffany, Fashion Week Brooklyn. And if you want to get your hair done.
You can reach me at tiffanycoates@gmail.com.
All right. All right. And any parting words from anyone before we
Pam, because we didn't say something to you, Pam.
Excuse me?
We didn't say
Pam,
you went first. She went first.
Yeah. Pam got in her last words.
Just checking. Just checking.
I want to thank everyone for watching the show. I want to thank I'm not gonna get everyone, like I always say, Yvonne Williams Simmons. Thank you. We saw all the comments, but unfortunately we couldn't get too many of them. Jamie Bates, Hell Joy 2. That sounds like a fun person. Hell Joy 2. Gina, our fantabulous #1 fan, Gina Fiore. Thank you so much. Grandma Staley, Norma Staley, thank you so much for checking out the show. Jamie Bates, I think I mentioned Jamie. Sharon Gooden, Pamela Jones. We got to do the bump, Pamela. Nigel Conover, who said, how can you come from a third world country and feel superior at the same time? Okay, all right. Let me let them marinate.
Yeah,
how can you come from a country where you got to bring water from a well and walk 10 miles to your hut?
Make you appreciate
and look down on it. I hear you, brother. I wasn't offended by it. I hear you. I know exactly what you're saying. How can anybody go to any country and look down on the people that are already there?
Wait, can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Carl,
go ahead. Yes.
Thank you for understanding. I don't know. I know you. But thank you for understanding where some of us our thinking's coming from, whether it's right or wrong. Thank you, because everything you said, you've been extra. How does the word? Kind, gracious. What is the word I'm looking for? With how you talk about our Black Americans' feelings on how we're dealing with the stuff, whether it's right or wrong. So I appreciate that, and I see that, and I appreciate it. Because most people will be like, "Oh, you're wrong. You shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have said that." But you're just not co-signing. But what's the word I'm looking for? It's been very helpful. What the things you've been saying. How about that?
Sure. And this is how I see America. When you're Black in America, you can die from just being on the wrong street or being in the wrong place just because you're Black. You can die. I mean, I don't know how, but we just live that way. We just live that way, knowing that we can die just for being Black. And so Tanya, you're very welcome. I mean, I feel it. But like I said earlier, there's a part of anyone from the Caribbean that we know in the back of our heads, we have a country we can go back to. Black Americans are born in the country. And
take me with you. Make me your leader, please.
Country's open. It's open. It's there. They're not refusing anyone.
It's not the same. Another island or something.
Yeah.
Africa wants you home. They tell you come home to. Africa tell you come back home.
Yeah, so I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you so much. And I know we say this every week, but I truly mean it. We love you. We love you for watching our show. Thank you to the Information Man. Thank you, brother, for supporting us. Those of you who, if you like our show, you're going to love the Information Man. Check out his show on YouTube and like and subscribe to the Information Man. So with that said, thank you so much, everyone. Like Tanya said, like, share, and we will see you next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Check out Tiffany. Get your hair done.
Yes.